What's up, everybody? I literally had to make this video. Ah, man, Hassan. I think he's watched way too many of my videos. So I think now it's more or less. Oh, that was loud. Yeah. More or less, like, he's just gone for. Like, on the recent, like, topic of what he just said to Asman, will probably go down in history. Like I said, going back to like my earliest videos, I said that like these people will make like history class so much more enjoyable, because they are the end of their kind. Like there's never gonna be people this stupid, this I don't know. Like how do you go from America deserves 9/11, like a previous statement that you said, and then like you can't necessarily walk that back, and you have to get on like I think he was making a statement off the internet or something with his uncle to like PR basically, and you go from that to get out of my country, Asmon Gold, because you don't like the First Amendment, and it's just like the First Amendment doesn't mean like you block the roads and you toss like rocks at cars and toss all these like objects at police officers and injure people. And it's just you're stretching the the limitations of what that law like entails. It doesn't say like you're free to do whatever you want, but Hassan is part of the side of the losers. He's such a loser. He actually would say that to Asmon Gold, like a guy who's like from Texas. He's missing a couple of his teeth. You know, he sometimes he starts whipping out his southern fried accent, and he's got to go back. He's got to go back to Turkey, man. He actually said that like Hassan's mind has literally broken to the point where he cannot win at any argument or juncture. So I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but I think he's just like so stupid and inbred that like perhaps like, he doesn't even understand that he's tightening the noose around his neck. And rightfully so, right? Like the guy is doing all these crazy things, you know, propping up terrorism, propping up protests that are anti-American, and all for the sake of what? Like if he doesn't like America so much, why doesn't he leave? Is pretty much what everybody's saying, right? Like the guy seems to not like it so much in America, but like he knows like when it comes to his money, there's not a lot of places in the world that will be safe for him to live, right? Because he has a lot of friends in California who aren't, for the state of America as it is. They want America to be like a European country where people can come and go and commit crimes and stuff. And so I was like wondering, like, doesn't this guy have like a woman in his life? Like, today's Father's Day. Like, doesn't this guy have like someone in his life to give him some guidance and stuff? Now, I was thinking for a while. Do I want to get in on it? Do I want to like talk about her and all that stuff? And at first, I was like, no, because it's like, oh, what does she have to do with anything? But I'm like, wait a minute, wouldn't she like have like a say, or like be able to calm them down and stuff? And then I looked into it, and she's so young. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This guy is like dating a girl like literally almost half his age, and like to go like to add to the insult to injury, and whatever, like it's not like a girl I would date, you know what I mean? And you kind of get this feeling that like this this has eaten him up on the inside. Like he's went from like being a dude bro, like if you watch his older videos, how he talks about women and all that shit, you would think that like he only dates the hot girls and like he likes to watch football and he's part of like the football team or some kind of sports team in his school. It's just like he goes from that to like this, being like this like skinny noodle armed 45-year-old guy with like fake hair, and he shaved off his like stupid mustache. He's trying to like whatever, and he's soy facing on purpose with the protest just so he could like and the craziest thing about it is that he knows for a fact that like hot girls and all that stuff like acid, and that's what's really eating him up on in the inside. Like, how can a guy like Gold, who's like yeah, he's famous and he has a lot of money now, but he went from like being this like low class guy to being this guy who's like #1 on Twitch, and then he left Twitch, and now Twitch is just like we wish you had him back. You're gonna be stuck with this guy. And it's so funny every single time, like Asin makes those videos, like obviously he's gonna comment on this, right? And you see that he playing back that video from Twitch where they're singing, "Happy Birthday" to Hassan, and it's just like, yeah, it's so dumb. Like these people are so anti-American. They're for the destruction of the fabric of society. Like that's why they push for all this like degenerate shit. Yeah, it makes a lot of money, but at the same time, like it also like you know ultimately decays the reality of people and their expectations when it comes to the opposite genders and stuff. Yeah. And I don't even understand how you can get to like a level of stupidity to say that like after all the things you said against America and the way you act against America and the fact that like I remember when like Aslan Gold said that things about Palestine, whether you agree with him or not, right? And then he had to walk it back. I don't remember a single one of his family members getting up and saying, like, you know what, Aslan, he's not really like this. He doesn't have these thoughts. He's not like a real racist person. I grew up with him. I'm his like, his brother, or his father, whatever, right? And they're just vouching for him. I never got that. And like you get that out of Hassan, and it's like weird. It's like, how do you have a guy who has followers after that when you can transparently see that like this guy is just being puppeteered by the people all around him, and he gets to do whatever he wants because he's like, the very special kid. Like this kid grew up, probably never got beaten, probably like no discipline, nothing, and he can do whatever he wants. And now he's living like he's realizing that like yeah he can have what he wants, but he doesn't want what he really wants. You know what I mean? Like pretty girls, women who with freedom and like the ability to choose, they're not for him and stuff. Like these are conformists, and they have a very specific look to them. Like they have like like it's weird because they would copy the fashion of their enemies while simultaneously like refuting them, and it like they come out like being like these almost warped children, like man children, females like wearing, excessive childish clothing, nobody's really acting their age. And like I get that like, people in their 20s, if you don't want to grow up, fine, right? But like, there comes a time and a place, when you gotta stop doing that stuff. Mm. I tell you, man, like I can't believe that he would actually go as far, Hassan, to watch my videos, and I think he shadow banned me because I kid you not, dude, I'm not like the most popular guy ever, right? And I know I came up with my video on like Friday the 13th, and like maybe during the afternoon or during the night, I forget. But I only got like, just a couple views, like 3, 4 views. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Usually, like, I get like, at least 10 or 20, something, right? Like, all of a sudden, I like thought to myself, like, wait a minute. Not only did he watch my video, but he got me shadow banned, man. That's like, uh, I'm telling you, man, because it's like I said that stuff about the vaccine and syphilis, and then like I'm saying all these things about him, about how he's going to the protest to be a man child, and how he looks dumb, and like Hassan, like you have nothing better to do with your time. That's why you're going out to the protest. As in goal can make more money outside the protest. He said he wants to join. He wants to join, the ICE agents as Ash Ketchum, and then deport people as a joke, right? Maybe you took it literally because you're so butthurt over the fact that you can't have your parents pay for your success anymore. Like it doesn't work. Like your parents, their love of their spoiled little hairy child, it wasn't good enough. And now you're forced to watch as the world changes around you. But if anything, why don't you just move to Canada? You probably hate it here because it's yeah, you think that it's bad in America. Wait until you get to Canada and you realize that because of this student visa scam bullshit, there's a surplus of guys in every major city, and they're all horny and shit, and they are desperate. Some of them cause they're immigrants, right? They have from Punjab, they'll use websites to go on dates with girls or get married to them because it's yeah, that's their only means, you know. I'm knocking people who use dating websites. But it's the craziest thing to see a guy go literally this insane. I think he knows what he's saying too. And the other comment was for him to go to Israel. Yo, Hassan, if you watch my videos, I'm gonna tell you something, man. If the Israeli IDF soldiers were telling the truth, and they want to not only settle Gaza, but turning it into a resort. Dog, that's gonna be my new Hawaii. That's gonna be my new Vegas, man. I'm gonna vacationing there. I'm gonna get a honeymoon there. I'm gonna everything there, dude. I'm gonna take so many pictures. Yo, the Israelis gonna get pissed off. They're gonna, yo, stop doing that, man. You can't take pictures of the fucking wreckage, all the debris and stuff. Yo, just take a. You're only allowed to take a picture of the beach and people and wildlife. Not the destruction. You see this gigantic wall, yo, under the construction, an entire city worth of just cranes and dump trucks of materials just being moved back and forth constantly. But yo, they're gonna make that place amazing, guaranteed. I know Asin he doesn't he said here's the thing that really gets me laughing about this whole topic is Asmongold vehemently does not want to support Israel, right? And if I were to make a venture of a guess, because he's a Christian boy, right? Christians love Jesus. Jesus was persecuted by the Jewish regime, whatever, back in the day. They beat him, and crucified him. They tortured him, right? So it's this idea that they're gonna just ride or die for it. Yes, there are elements of pro Israel people in the government. Obviously, when you see that stuff, it gets everybody scratching their head. It's yo, why is it like this? Everybody's asking this exact same thing. But of course, you gotta blame Asmongold because of success and because he's white. Because it's this is why you're a loser, right? Is because you can't admit the fact that even amongst white people, you have to admit that without the success that Asmongold has, white people will not like him. Do you understand that? He's a good person, but you wouldn't know that based off of his appearance. And then on top of that, right, you have the idea that before current times, people who played excessive amounts of video games, people who whatever, right, were they're not very productive members of society, even though today that is very much the case, right? So for Asmongold to be on top of something that he's always done anyway is kind of fitting for a guy who kind of deserves the success that he's garnished. And I think that's mostly why people hate him so much, is that what they do as an act, Hassan, even Destiny, all these people they do as an act, comes naturally to Asmongold. And even more so than I'd say me, because if you catch me playing games for more than 4 hours, my blood vessels in my eyes are popping. I'm getting fidgety. I gotta go eat something. I gotta go take a shower. it's not, something that I can do very easily. So I guess that like when you look at it from an outside point of view, there's no way you can compete against a guy like that. He's got all these videos of like, hygienical issues and stuff too, right? Like the guy is so fucking hardcore that you can't question his legitimacy. And all you could do is postulate like a dumbass, going to these protests and like imagine that you can get as in gold Hassan with his magical like negotiating skills. Like, dude, have you ever negotiated anything in your life to any significance of success? Because I'm beginning to think that that's a no. Right? Like whenever you needed something, like you would ask somebody else for it, and then you get it that way. Like when it comes to negotiating, like it's not something that you're good at, dude. Like stop. Like you can't make somebody want to run in oncoming traffic, but you're literally doing because you're doing it, right? You want them to run into oncoming traffic. How fitting, dude. Like I'm saying, metaphorically speaking, you have to run to oncoming traffic by doing something that criminally stupid and like would get him implicated with like charges and stuff. So like let's say he's at the protest and he or one of his security guards just like shoves somebody, but that shoving caused that person to fall over and like let's say they're just like pulling some bullshit, right? But like yeah, they fall over because they're doing like a sports foul, if you will, and then they hit their head on the concrete or something like that. Then he gets implicated, and you see all these people around witnessing. Oh, look at what happened! He has been gold. The right wing. He doesn't want to see us, stay in America. He's assaulting us. And then you're just like, yo, this is just stupid, man. Like you guys, like your tactics are so childish. We all know like what you're gonna do before you even do it. Like you're just gonna resort to stupider and more like idiotic means of like justifying your cause. It's like, oh wait, but that guy did this. Oh wait, but like, dude, like stop. And like we all know, like me especially, like I know for a fact that Hassan watched um what's it called again? My video, but like he knew that like when he was talking to those gay dudes and he brought up the what was it again? Hamas flag? What was it? It was no Hezbollah. There you go. The Hezbollah flag, aka like the mustard, whole mustard AK-47, like a really spicy mustard type of flavor flag. That's his favorite one. Colors suck. He's so fucking retarded, dude. He's just talking to like a bunch of other like gay people about this shit, and he's trying to like act hard and tough and shit about his favorite flag. Like he got so traumatized by all of this stuff that he can't think of any avenue of success. All he can do is just say more and more idiotic things while like young bloods just like tear into them like every single day. They're just like a new Hassan video just comes out. His face in the thumbnail. His face in the thumbnail over and over again. You think I get sick of it? No. You asked for it. Like, come on. You're gonna say and do shit this dumb and expect people to not call you on it is like beyond me. Beyond like any form of logic. And not only is should it be expected, but it should be like a case study of like inbreeding and what happens with like these guys, they even if they come from a family with like a lot of money, right? Like you would have every single avenue of success lined up for you. Like the kinds of opportunities that people would, I wouldn't say, yeah, I guess some of them would die for it, but it's just like somebody would like, it's like winning the lottery for most people, right? Is what you have. In fact, probably more than that. And instead of like, using, your capabilities to your utmost advantage, you're pushing a narrative for a bunch of losers, much like yourself. So you're trying to rewrite history in your favor. Oh my goodness. I'm telling Asmin go to Israel or go to Turkey. Go to Turkey. There's no First Amendment there. See how it feels. What the hell are you talking about? You telling an American to go to Turkey, and everybody's saying the exact same thing. Like how can you be this stupid? I'll tell you how. It's inbreeding, dude. The guy is so inbred. He's like he's not happy with his life. He's a total leftist. He's vastly more older than his, girlfriend, according to Google. Anyway, I don't make people's lives my business. But I was just like wondering, like, yo, is there anybody in this guy's fucking life to just hold him back from being this goddamn stupid? And it's like, of course not. The person who should be is just like half his age. It's like, fuck out of here. Oh my god, dude. I mean, like, no wonder he's like, he's friends. Oh, and I figured out the guy's name. For like the longest time, this guy's name has left me, but I figured it out now. I'm probably gonna put it edit in this video. It's okay, I remember this time. Edit in this video. Okay, he's pointed out. It's Vosh. This guy, dude, is the absolute utter worst. Not only is he pushing for like, hardcore pedophilia and stuff and like has the belief of it, but he's been caught multiple times, like at least recently, this once with like, this questionable kind of pedophilic porn, cartoonish porn on his computer with like animals and I don't even want to get into that. I just don't because it's like it's insane. The insanity of like having to sift through that. Like, yeah, I watched YouTube videos about that guy because that's probably why I like, I blocked him out because it's just like the memory of that would be so traumatizing that I would just, I guess, relapse from reality. Just need to take a breather, gotta get some fresh air. Get fresh air from Bosch and like the whole leftist, like anti-logic, propagandists who are against like pretty much everything. You ever think he looks in the mirror sometimes and sees his old self? Sees his like, when he was chubbier, he was like a little bit bigger, more muscular, all that shit. And he's just like look more like a your classic football player. He looked happy back then. It's kind of hard to believe you come so far and then fall so deep. But hey, politics will do that to you, man. That's why, like, I'm probably gonna come out with like Elden Ring Night Rain review before I come up with my lore video because I don't know. I think like the lore videos when people are chilling. I think like Night Rain is still popping and stuff. I went on Armor Core just to like play some online as you saw it earlier in the footage and like it actually took me a while to get into the games, but once you like your score gets high enough and you play like and the higher S ranks and stuff, you get to have matches more frequently. But like yeah, besides that being besides the point, like those are my hobbies, right? Like I'm not saying necessarily that like everybody should be doing those things, but I'm just saying like if you're cool, you probably would. But like on the real, like this is how should I put this? Yeah, this is probably like one of the times of our lives where we'll probably look back at this one day and realize that, you know, it would have never like gotten to this unless we all like, got in and spoke about it, talked about it, and just, figured out like how I'm not trying to say we pushed like I was trying to push people's buttons or anybody else was, but like just being able to voice your opinion about it is probably like one of those things that I think that like, he hates the most. I think that's why he's outside, you know? He went outside on these protests trying to like, make a news report for himself. Anyways, take care.